Mother's Day. To all you mother-loving people out there, happy Mother's Day. First and foremost, obviously. I just got back from a delightful trip well, actually, you know what? My phone's upside down. I cannot stand for this injustice. Hold on. We're going to flip upside. All right. Okay. I can stand for this injustice. All right. So it's going to take a minute for people to roll in because I'm not streaming at my normal time because I was out of town. I was down in Portland, Oregon with all the pioneers and Lewis and Clark and Antifa and all that stuff. And the Proud Boys, all the fun people. Oh, and you know who else I was with was I saw Kenny and Danny while I was down there from AQUATIC. So that was really fun. I got to tour their house. They gave me unfettered access to checking out everything that they had, all their fish. So I have a 2-part fish room tour. Their fish room is bonkers. It's not a fish room, it's a fish house. They literally have, I don't know, almost 100 tanks in their house, over 70, and some of them are like 300-gallon tanks. They're giant. One of them is, I think, the coolest one's like a 180, and then another 180 built into their wall in their living room. But I mean, lots of fish over a foot long, lots of rare cichlids, and then everything down to nano fish and really cool guppies and all that stuff. So really cool stuff. That'll be uploaded probably tomorrow morning, the first installment, and the second installment maybe the next day, something like that. But in any case, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, if you're coming into the chat now. So pass the word along, everybody. But I thought today what we could talk about, as well as doing a little bit of an unboxing and a little bit of an announcement, we could talk about how fish parent their babies, how female fish, different species, do different things, and how some literally just lay eggs and then swim off and that's that, and others will spend years hanging out with their babies in the proximity. So, different strokes for different folks, I suppose. I guess some people manage to raise their children the same way. But that's just that. So, the other thing that happened was we went down to Portland, my wife and I, for our friend's 50th birthday, and that was wonderful. But I had not been feeling the hottest. I had a flare from my lupus, and I fell asleep after I had been up late and slept some of the night, woke up in the morning, and then fell back asleep. Slept right through a guest stream I was supposed to do at noon o'clock. Slept right through everything I had to do that day, including go to lunch with my wife and her friend. My wife was very kind and said, "You never sleep like that, so I just let you sleep." But I did wake up in an unfamiliar Airbnb bedroom, and I was like, what is going on? What time is it? Where am I? So if you were excited about seeing the stream over on Chris's channel, sorry about that. We're going to reschedule it. I feel really bad. It's like the only time I've missed a stream like that for someone else. So, but it also missed this stream. And by later in the day, I didn't want to run over anybody else that usually would not be run over by my schedule. But I do have something to show y'all, and that is in this box. And I brought it from Portland. So we have some cool stuff in there. Hopefully it's actually some warm stuff. It's actually a really nice day here in the Northwest. We're back home after too many hours of driving in traffic. There's always traffic now. It doesn't matter if it's Sunday at noon or 11. There's always traffic now in the Northwest along the I-5 corridor. But in any case, how are you guys all doing? It looks like we got some folks filtering in. I know everybody's like, well, why are you up, Alex? Why are you streaming? What's going on? Are you giving things away? Give them if you are. I see Thomas, I see Patrick, I see Scott, I see Muppet. Hello, Pete. Hello. John, what's going on, John McKenzie? and K-Day, and Fish Tropic, what's in the box? And Geek Boy, what's up? So, how's everybody doing? Also, and Yubo, what's going on, brother? I also have not seen the fish room really since I just walked in the door. We just got back from Portland, from another territory within our federal states. But the box is from the Wet Spot Tropical Fish in Portland, which is probably the biggest selection of freshwater fish anywhere in the country. They also run the cichlid exchange, so that's pretty cool. But the box, well, we'll get to the box in a minute. I treat myself once in a while, right? So I want to thank you all again. If you weren't here for the 20K threshold party that we had, just thank you so much, you guys. I truly appreciate it, and you guys rock. So thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for consuming the nerdy crap that I create. Talking about Egyptians keeping pet fish and the like, or the physics of how fish eyeballs work, or how pressure waves work on fish fins. We've had some kind of deep dive nerdy stuff lately. I've had a lot of fun researching it and making it, but we'll do some more approachable, fun stuff coming up with that, showing off Ken, and that's Kenny E. If you guys watched Anakin Aquatics, he's on later tonight, and his wife Danny came and picked me up and swooped me up from where we were staying and drove me around town. He even bought me Dr. Pepper. He had Dr. Pepper at the house ready to go, as if he were going to hold me hostage and make me produce clout for him, I think that's what the plan was. No, they were so nice. Such nice people. So, let's see who else is in here. We got T-Bone. What's going on, T-Bone? Good to see you, buddy. And Patrick, what's up? So, the other little announcement is that, yes, we're doing the escaping contest. I saw Danny, and she actually had like a whole tank she was getting ready and everything. One reminder on that is that you can use a tank that you've already aquascaped, that's already fully set up and beautiful, but we just want to see an immersed growth element to it and some changes to it. You can spruce it up or do some new additions, some remodeling, whatever you want to do, or you can start from scratch. But coming in the next 7 days or so, be thinking about what you want to do, or collecting together supplies, because then we will be assembling spider. Then we will be assembling a little page that you guys can go to, and we'll drop the link, and you can come and you can say, I am working on a 20-gallon aquarium. It's going to be a heaterless aquarium, or a deep substrate, or whatever. You're going to give us kind of the rundown of what the actual aquarium is, what the specs are, and then what your goal or plan or inspiration or all of the above were. So if it's a biotope, what place you're mimicking, what plants you're going to use. If you're using tissue cultures and you're just learning to do grow immersed plants that are growing up out of the water, and you're trying to get them to flower. Maybe you're doing a Nubius or Bucephalandra and you want them to flower. That's a really cool project and pretty easy to do, actually. I have videos that are pretty old now, but about doing that. I used to flower a lot of different Anubias and Bucephalandra whenever I got the chance. It was always really fun. So they're just incredibly gorgeous plants to do that with, and that's the only way to truly identify a lot of crypts and boosts. So kind of cool. Your average fish keeper, what is going on? Saying happy Mother's Day to everyone out there also. Right on. Xanadudu, what's going on? You're not very late this time. It's all good. This was unexpected anyways. So, yeah. Alex, I ordered 6 black ruby barbs for my tiger barbs tank. That will give me now about 40 barbs. Man, I have to see T-Bone. I have to see your tank again soon. That sounds epic. It already looked beautiful with all your barbs. That is a barbaganza right there. 3G, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. I don't know if I recall that screen name, but welcome, welcome, welcome. And then the other news about that contest that we're doing is, last year we did one, last calendar year, literally. And Alan Bauer really helped me organize that. He's going to do it again. And then we wanted another kind of impartial juror who is a skilled and very knowledgeable plant keeper. So we got Mrijal Singh to help, and he's gonna help judge us, everyone who was doing it. I'll do it too, and I'll show you guys what I'm working on when we get there. But it should be a lot of fun. The goal is really to not. Nobody needs to spend a ton of money. If you want to, go for it, but we're going to try to judge on things, and we'll put up a rubric when we have the entry forms where it's kind of like you'll see that like creativity, how well the tank is set up so that in the future like the plants will grow in and it makes sense and you can trim them easily. Like if you just did a carpeted tank with those seeds from China and the carpet looks awesome on a Iwagumi scape, but that's your only plant and you planted seeds, it's going to grow up. It dies at about 6 months or 3 months or 8 months, depends on whatever scammy thing they send you. And then it dies, the ammonia spikes, and your tank crashes. So there's a little bit of an element of like, does it make sense? Like, did you put a red-tailed catfish in a 20-gallon or did you, but there's no limit to the size or the scope of what you want to do. Last time, the tank that won was a very small little 2.5 gallon, done really well. So we're going to be then doing a bunch of prizes, and we'll be doing. Oh, right, Greg, the guppy guy. Sorry about that. I forgot you changed your handle. Well, hello, and Fishymon, what's going on? But yeah, so the other thing is the prizes are pretty sweet this time. So it's some incentive, even if you just have a tank. Like if you're willing to do this and just give it a shot, like come learn with us. Come learn about immersed plants, about how your tank responds, or if you've never done it before, it's pretty cool to grow some plants up out of the water and see the different textures and the different growth come out of those undifferentiated stem cell nodes. But we have a first place prize of $250 gift card to Aquatic Arts, and then a second place prize of $100 gift card, and a third place card. We'll also be giving out more gift cards along the way just for other things. We might have like most creative or like best on a budget, whatever it may be. We may add a couple things as a surprise. And then also incredible rewards. We have autographed copies of several books. For first place, along with the $250 cash, you get the choice of if you want the amazing book Aquarium Plants by Crystal Castleman. Most comprehensive book, hands down, on aquarium plants. It's a identification and care guide for about 1,800 or 1,500 species, 1,500 species, I'd say, variants of aquatic. That's all, folks. Of aquarium hobby plants, stuff in the hobby all the way up till now. So it's nice that it's updated. She had an older one that was missing some of the like Homlomenas and Pinto Anubius and things like that. That's newer to the aquarium scene. But yeah, so that's the first place prize, or they have choice of that. We also have a signed edition of the Wallstead Method by Diane Wallstead, and then there was one other book that we had also that Alan got, and I already blanked on it again. Somebody probably remembers what I told you guys. But yeah, so pretty sweet prizes. It might have been George. It might be George Farmer's book. Actually, I'm trying to recall which one it was because it was signed. But yeah, so let's see. You guys want to see what's in the box before we start talking about muttas? Um, yeah. Also, I don't have stickers yet, but I'm gonna make some because the other thing is I'm gonna start hitting all my friends up, all you guys with channels, and all you guys with stickers. I mean, you don't need a channel, but I want to take a spot on the wall, like maybe here above this tank, and I want to make like a board around that size, and have all the stickers from everyone's channels that has helped influence me, who are my friends, who are just cool people. So, also, while I'm in here, I literally have not been here since Thursday looking in here. So, just taking a look and making sure nothing's on fire or no fish are floating upside down, obviously. And I think everything's looking pretty darn good. There's no emergencies, it appears. Uh, but it definitely makes my fish room feel like I'm a bum compared to. Wow, we've got some spawning colors on this guy right now. Makes me feel like a bit of a bum when I went down to Portland and saw the incredible fish room that is Danikin Aquatics fish room. Pretty crazy stuff. So that video I'm excited to share with you guys. And yeah, I still do tattoos from time to time, by the way. Tattoos, I usually do tattoos, something like around $50 an hour, something like that. Let's see here. Sosa Aquarius. Secret Alex, there you are. The man who influences us to have crebensis and other beautiful fish despite being barely loved in the hobby. Aww. Let's see here. I wish I could set up a new tank right now. These prizes are lit. Yeah, they'll pay for your new tank if you win, so that's pretty sweet, right? Let's see here. Um, I don't love my gimbal, honestly. Nigel, what's going on? Welcome. I don't love the gimbal. The one I'm using right now is like a stabilizing, and it's more of like a selfie stick with stabilizing gyro on it. Like a three-axis stabilizing mechanism or arm on it. But it's for phones. It won't hold a camera, so it won't hold my DSLR. It won't hold even like a power shot. It won't have the energy to hold. And then if you get down too low, it all of a sudden it like inverts and it goes. So it's really great for sweeping landscape shots, or if you had to take a long panoramic shot of something like a 3D aquarium, like one. Well, all aquariums are 3D. Alex, what are you talking about? Like an aquarium that's in a big room or something, and if you were filming all around, or if you wanted to come in at an angle on a pond, then yes, they're really cool. For using them right up next to the glass with an aquarium, they are not that useful, honestly. They do prevent some of the shaking, obviously, but you still see that this shakes. And when you do the live stream, the shaking is a lot more pronounced. It's way more extreme than I see it on my end. Right now, on my end, it looks completely perfectly smooth. But when I look at this again, it'll probably have some little jerks and jiggles like right now. Especially when you can see a straight line like the ceiling up there. Usually you can see that it's moving a bit. But for the money, if you're doing anything other than fish, if you're doing filming of people or, any sort of drama or comedy skits and stuff like that, or YouTube type stuff in that vein, it could be very useful. Or filming, I don't know, car races or animals in the wild, like a bunch of horses or something running around in a pen or whatever. It could be really useful. All right. Well, you guys want to see what I bought down in Portland the things I shouldn't have. I need a Jimmy gimbal. I agree. I love Jimmy, and he's in town, but he's always so busy with the coop, the aquarium coop. Big Tank Hank, welcome, my friend. Welcome. Come on in. All right, Laura Sutton, what up? So this box is totally overkill, but they gave it to me because it's what was handy. All right. And I like that this is from the Cichlid Exchange. So check this out. I can find out where their stuff came from. It appears to be Chinese. It might not be, though. It could be... That's not Korean, so probably Chinese. Could be Singapore or something, though, too. I don't know their ways. But in here we have 4 of the these ones are the I don't know what any of that info means. That's very odd. They also gave me Blackbeard algae in this bag, so that's not the best thing ever. Thanks, the Wet Spot. I appreciate that Aquatic Arts never does that. Wet Spot may have them beat on fish selection, but I never get Blackbeard algae from them. Let's see here. So these, I think, are the little rainbow. These are supposed to be the praycocks. Yep, they are. So these are the praycocks rainbow. Nice little, I got 4 of them, 2 males, 2 females. And that should be enough to get me breeding. They breed, they'll probably breed in about 3 more months of growing out if I feed them. If I feed them. Yeah, because the plan's to not feed them currently, you know. So, let's put them in a tank. A tonk. I think they might go best. I was thinking like up here with these guys, and then I was thinking, and then I was thinking, and then I thought, meh. So I think they're going to go in here. And then when I want to spawn them, I need to set up another 10 over here for rainbow fish specifically. For pseudomagills or any top spawners, bettas, anything like that, that I'm trying to get eggs from. Pretty much anything other than like rice fish. These rice fish are probably going outside soon too. So they're the last of them. They just happen to have be from a little farther south in Japan, so didn't want to risk them. All right, the next bag. Dun, 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 dun. So these guys are pretty rare, very new in the hobby. They were discovered in the Lake Inlet region, and these are bumblebee honey dwarf catfish, and they I don't know their Latin name right off the top of my head. It's a new fish to me, but they had these, and I love oddball little catfish. And these guys have nice little whiskers, and they're just really cool looking. So I got 2 of these, and they're from Lake Inle / Myanmar. So I'll probably do a species profile on them soon, and we can talk more about that. But, I mean, since this tank is all, like, South Pacific and things like that, obviously I need to top off the water. But because of all the rainbow fish and threadfin rainbows and shrimp and the hill stream loaches and then all the other loaches, this tank, it needs lots of algae, so I keep the water low so that the light just really grows a lot of green algae on things. But I think we'll have these 2 in here because it's kind of a Burmese setup in here anyways. I mean, it could be a South Pacific, Thailand, whatever. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Kenny? Danikin Aquatics, the folks I just visited while I was down in Portland. I was just telling folks that I've got some pretty cool footage that they let me shoot at their place, and they were amazing hosts. So then the other fish that I've got in here right now, the albino crib that I have, the female died. The male looks like he attacked her while the other night, like the night before I left. And then I've got these rock cribs that are still middle-aged, not quite full-grown, and they're in with the albino crib. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping these 2 will pair off. But I got in more trouble and bought more Nanochromis because I can't help myself. Um, and even though Kenny said he could help me out um, in the long run, which I will definitely take him up on, um, the these guys right here are, well, boy, they've lost their color, unfortunately, but they'll color back up. These are the transvestitis is what they're called, and they are really pretty. Normally they're really dark with like a bright purple or pink belly, and this is a pair of them. They had a deal on a pair for $40 with tax and everything. So I bought a pair of Nanochromis. So now I've got Nanochromis Teffy, Nanochromis Parlus, and Nanochromis Transvestitis, which are what these guys are. We'll let them get acclimated. They're probably a little cold and just scared from the car ride. But I think I'm going to put them back in here with all these plants, and then I'll put a little hut back in there for them and add some more sand for them up top. And that should be a good show because they are a river fish from Africa. And again, the males of these, like most cichlids, the males will guard the babies and be very protective, whereas the females will kind of chill and hang out and be protective at first when when they lay the eggs, and then they kind of scram for a little bit. Then the babies hatch. The father protects them while they're little yolky, sticky eggs that just are helpless. And then after that, the mother kind of hangs out around the babies for another few weeks. That's pretty common with cribs or with Nanochromis and things. Oh, look at this, by the way. My red-tailed goby is out. He's never out. This thing is huge. It's hard to tell how big he is, but then here are my other, if just to get the idea of color, these are very light colored. These are the Nanochromis parts. And these ones, also they're really beautiful fish, but you could probably see why I'm a little hesitant to put this small of fish in with the larger colony I have in here. But they've never spawned for me yet. So I moved two of them into another tank. Also, by the way, some of these little guppy males are really coloring up since the last time I even filmed, since several days ago. So they've been doing well. Sometimes your tank does well when you just don't feed it. You don't do anything to any of the fish. You just let them hang out in a darker tank. You can also see that my pencil fish, there's 2 or 3 females in there that are ready to spawn. So I should probably set up a nice little low pH tank for them and let the 3-line Trifasciatus pencilfish spawn too, if they're up for it. Thank you so much, T-Bone. I see the super sticker. I really appreciate it. And I saw another one too. Cal Barton, thank you so much for the $5 Canadian super chat. Love the Canada. My Neo's randomly dying after a Hydra outbreak. Treated with fenbendazole. Their heads are going red when they die. Is this what shrimp look like dead? Yes. You didn't say which kind of Neocaridina, like which color you have, but when Neocaridina shrimp die, generally they leave a body inside of that exoskeleton for about 1 to 2 days before it turns to complete mush and dissolves. And it will be a bright red at first, generally. If they're blue, like a real deep blue, sometimes it will be like blue or yellow or whatever color the shrimp are for a few hours, but then usually it turns red, then it turns to a milky clear color, and then it gets eaten or dissolves away completely. So that's kind of what it looks like. Yes, it is quite the big box. They definitely sent me home with a way bigger box than I needed, because also, like, they sent me home. I got some blue phantom plecos that they had on sale. These are wild caught, and these are from the Orinoco River, they said. And these ones are the wild phantom blue plecos. And I've never had phantom blues in my tank. I've had the greens, and I've had the blue seams and stuff like that. but I'm trying to debate where we want to put them. I'm kind of thinking maybe we'll put them in here for now since they're young, and there's some rocks with some food, but there's a lot of cories and stuff in here, and the Borneo loach, and lots of good water circulation, lots of floating plants. But there you can kind of see that'll be a dark navy blue with light blue spots, like sky blue spots all over, and then usually the top fin, the dorsal fin, the little top peak of it has some blue highlights or seam on it too. So let me go grab the other one, and then we can talk about mother-loving fish, or fish that love their mothers, I guess. One or the other. So here's just another one. This one is a more deep color. It pooped a lot, so they're feeding it. This morning when I was at the wet spot, I got there right as they opened, and I saw what they were feeding all their critters. And I mean, they had bloodworms, they had black worms, they had everything was live. So that was really, really good to see. Very encouraging to see that. So, all right, man. Yet again, these shrimp, they're plotting something. Look at them all. They're up to no good. I know it. So let's see here. Let's check on the panda loaches. They're kind of my babies here, and I know that the tank's usually kind of reflective and not the best to look at daytime, but they're doing okay. It looks like the caradinas are still doing good, and the nearite in there still doing good. All the little baby blue shrimp that are in here, looks like everyone's around somewhere. If I look, start pestering everybody, they all start appearing. But these guys, I have to say again, if you guys have never kept these, you could watch my videos on them from about 3 years ago. I have one, and have another update video too on them. But they will not so much as eat or touch even these little teeny tiny baby shrimp right here that are probably a week or two old. They don't even bug them. So what I do for them is I literally just take a turkey baster. You guys have seen this if you watch my channel at all. I use a turkey baster and I kick up all the mulm and dirt that's in this relatively shallow front bit of gravel. And there's detritus worms, and there's planaria, and there's seed shrimp, and all sorts of other little buggers in here. And now you'll see they'll all come rushing in and rooting through that because that's their favorite little treat. And it doesn't take anything. It just takes having a tank that isn't completely... I'm not a clean freak, so that's all it takes. The Valiant Gouramis are doing good. So how is everybody else doing today? Rachel, welcome. Good to see you. Melissa, hello. The Blue Phantoms get between 5 and 7 inches. Cal says, this channel and Mark Shrimp are my favorite. I love Mark Shrimp. He's great. And I'm glad that you enjoy the channel. Thank you so much for joining us. Alec the Nice, what's going on, my friend? You don't like live food because of parasites. Yeah, I understand that. Rapashi is very good, and it works really well. I do understand why you would do that for sure. Let's see here. Dan's got 4 powder blue dwarf gouramis right on. They're all male coming from the wet spot. Those will have the nice little red highlights. They're a really pretty fish. Melissa said, just built a tank stand. Excited to get new fish right on. Dan, it's good to see you, buddy. I'm so glad you're doing better and able to join us here. To Cooley for Schooly, hello, welcome. Again, just look at these shrimp. Look, what are they planning? What do they know that I don't? Like, they've been here all day doing whatever it is they're doing here. The other thing I wanted to check on actually was over in here. We'll talk about some motherly advice. Shrimp, well, we know that they carry their babies in the form of eggs. And then when they're is this? Okay, he's alive. And then when they're ready to hatch, they hatch as free-formed little individual shrimp. that are allowed to go forth into the world and do whatever the heck they please. So they don't really do anything for their young, um, other than make them. Now, what's really cool though are these valiant gouramis. Sometimes they're called Valentino gouramis, sometimes they're called rainbow gouramis or samurai gouramis. Um, but there's a pregnant shrimp right there, right at the end of my turkey baster. But these guys, the female is more rainbow colored, which is kind of the opposite of some fish. She's the one with a bright color, and right now nobody's got bright color. I just turned the lights on because we just got back. But the ones with the stark striping, like this one here, this means it's a male. And you see that white stripe under the chin? Well, you did. Um, unlike unlike this one here, that kind of has a big gray patch, and there's a white line on the chin, but this one has a big pouch that's like a pelican, and those are the males. So again, Mother's Day, not all that it's cracked up to be in the fish world, in that these guys, the males, take care of the babies, and they make bubble nests up at the top. And then when the babies are born, they put them in the pouch in their mouth, and they swim around with them in their gullet for about a month or two, and then they spit them out. They're born very teeny, like a millimeter or so probably long. So yeah. Then let's take a look down here. We do have some other species doing things. And this tank, I need to figure out how I'm gonna add more. So here's the Nanochromis parlous pair that's in here. Then we've got the longfin peppercorys with the blue genetics and the longfin genetics, obviously. And then we've got the Aspidora in here, the C125s. And then we also have the Venezuelan orange and black. There goes the parlous hiding around, running around. Maybe you can see some of that blue shimmer. I sure can on these peppercorys. I call them B52s because of how they look. And then the little Aspidoras have little white dots on their head. But I really am getting into Aspidoras. I wish that they would be more popular. So we'll see. The Chinese golden algae eater are also called sucking loaches, but are they loaches? No. They are a cyprinid, though. Cal Barton says, is fluorite red okay for shrimp in a Fluval Flex 15? It should be, yeah, definitely. Fluorite should all be the same, essentially. I don't know what they use to dye some of it. Some of it's synthetically dyed when it's real bright, but like black fluorite, white fluorite, that it's always been fine as far as I've seen. I think it can add a little bit to the general hardness and a little bit to the TDS, but not too much. It's a pretty stable crystalline structure from what I've gathered. But speaking of little catfish mothers, what do? What do the female catfish Corydoras do? Well, the Corydoras, they go up and down, and the male and female bump into each other, and they form the letter T on the glass when they're getting frisky, and one butts the other in the belly, and then that's the hint that give up them eggs, yo. And then they give up them eggs, yo, and that's that. Now with the Nanochromis parlus, they're a fun little fish from the river system in the Congo. The Ulindi River is where these ones are from, a tributary of the Congo. And the female, let's see, that's the male there, because the male has red stripes on his tail, on the lower half of his tail. That's how you can tell the male easily. Right now, the color, not so great on him, so I probably need to do a good water change on this tank, just to kind of make everyone happy. And that will probably actually cause some spawning in here too. So it'll be a nice little treat. The Cory should lay on the glass. And then the other cool thing is the Anubias Pinto, White Pinto or Snow White, whatever you want to call it. The albino Pinto, it is growing like perfectly just in the sand. Like part of the rhizome still exposed, but it's just chilling in the sand. And it's down at the bottom, and it's in this tank with lots of water movement, and it's just getting blasted with light. But I thought that was interesting that it was doing well, as is the Ovalis, Golden Ovalis Ludwigia. Starting to get some algae in here, some filamentous algae, but with all these cories and there's also a fair number in here, which we'll talk about, which are another really interesting mother of fish. Come on, come over here. Are the half-beaks. And half-beaks, these are from Borneo. They're a real funky monkey. And they are, we've got some rainbow fish in here. And the rainbow fish are just little, if you can see them here, they're little gilbert eye, Pseudomagil gilbert eye. And they'll have a nice white and yellow finish to them. I just like their behavior. The females are not that interesting in this species, but the males will do the little West Side Story thing where they flare up and then they spin around and puff out at each other. And then here, these half-beaks are the only other live bear in fresh water that's not related to all the Postiliatas and mollies and platies and swordtails. This is found, like I said, in Borneo. And these odd little pike or gar-shaped fish, these ones are full-grown, but these are the golden wrestling half-beaks in here. And they will give live birth to little babies that are pretty much fully functionally formed, other than the fact that they could get eaten. That makes them less than functional, I suppose. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on the new transvestitis that I have. Everybody needs a good new transvestitis. But should I put them in here with these parlous Nanochromis, or should I put the Nanochromis transvestitis in their own tank? I'm kind of leaning towards their own tank. Also, my Nanochara are still hanging in there. There's still 3 of them. I had 4, but I don't know. They didn't do. One of them didn't do so well about a month ago, and was getting beat up pretty bad. You raise your baby half-beaks in your shrimp tanks. Right on, David. I haven't actually had these ones have any babies yet, so I'm excited and hope they do. I really am looking forward to when that day comes. Again, here, now they're kind of coloring up again. These are the orange or yellow honey Burmese catfish, dwarf catfish. And they don't get much bigger than this. Like 2 inches at max, maybe. But they kind of look like little squeaker cats or something. They got the cute little face and the big old whiskers, the barbels on their face. And then they've got the clear body, but it's got some interesting yellow and orange tinges to it that it can cycle through. So that's kind of fun. And then in this same tank, we've got the thread fin rainbows, which the females sit back while the males color up and do the little jig where they put their fins up and chase each other around. You can see him flexing his fins right there. His dorsal is he's just making sure it works. And then with all these little loaches, or gobies, we've got the little bumblebee gobies. These are so teeny. They're like my pinky nail. Look at that. And that's full grown. And then we've got the Stiphodon or birdsong gobies that are from the Pacific Islands. They're also from Japan and Taiwan, the Philippines. Indonesia is as far as they've been spotted. But they're probably mostly hiding right now They were out when we first came in, but they're mostly hiding under this plant. So watch. Yeah, here they come. And then there comes some more bumblebee gobies. I've only got 3 of the bumblebee gobies. That's all I've had. But I'm hoping to get more. Also, I'm hoping to breed out. Now you can see the color coming on finally. These are the aquatic arts. Pseudomagil luminatus, the really beautiful neon red or neon orange pseudomagills with this beautiful blue iridescence. And they are pretty easy to spawn. In the past, I've spawned them, and they command a price between $6 and $10 retail around here, pretty much all day long. And so they're a good one, especially since they spawn daily. It's just they do take a while to grow out, actually. As far as the gobies go, the female parental care, their main thing is they have the strategy of they need to eat. They eat a lot. And so they need to eat all day and day, every day and day. And they need to eat so that they can basically turn that tissue and food into little cells. And each little teeny cell is like the size of a human sperm cell, which is the smallest cell in our body, if you're a man. If you're a woman, I won't go there. I just drop the subject. I don't know if it's the smallest cell in your body. But the oh, and we've got my my little dragon gobies in here too. They're kind of being shy because it's the middle of the day. But in any case, they lay a lot of eggs. Sometimes some of these fish can lay 10,000 eggs at a time. So they're not joking around with the numbers they can produce, but they are completely larval. They are born microscopic and helpless, and they are planktonous and basically just float out to sea and live in the plankton fields. And then they start getting bigger, and when they get to the size that you'd consider maybe a fry of a very small fish, like a millimeter or half a millimeter, then they start eating phytoplankton, and then they get a little bigger and they start eating zooplankton, and then they swim back in, and the cycle repeats itself. Rinse and repeat. So let's see here. I think, you know, this tank, we've had some issues with this going on earlier in the month. This tank was giving me some issues, and so I just want to make sure that my red lizard cat is doing okay, because the other one died in here too. So I've had, in the last month, I've had more deaths than when I moved tanks total. I don't know what happened, what set off the chain of events necessarily, but these guys are pretty sensitive. These Apisto Panduros or Pandarinis, depending on who you ask what the name is, and they're doing okay. Oh, there's the red lizard cat. He's doing good. So I want to get more of those. I want to get some banjo cats. The puffers, they're doing good. They have a healthy diet of snails from all the other tanks. And then down here we've got all sorts of these that are looking brilliant as ever. The border banded loaches, and then the 9-band African barbs, looking good. And then the kohaku. That one's not really kohaku technically, but these are the kohaku swordtails. And then I have a couple kohaku platies, feeding them with the aquarium co-op fry food. I've just found that it doesn't spike in ammonia much, and like that much food keeps them eating a long time, even if they're bigger fish. But it never really interferes with too much of the biological processes that need to be happening in the tank. It doesn't spike the ammonia. So, hitting them with the food. This is one of my, these originally from Lucas Brett's, but these are the Volta, the line I kind of invented, crossed with his rainbow tiger endlers. These are my rainbow Volta endlers. They're still tiger style. But I've moved some of the males because the males just weren't seeming, yet again, not seeming to flourish. I don't know if something's up with the water, maybe sometimes when we switch into summer or spring, or into summer from spring, I should say, or when we when we switch from fall to winter, we'll see that the water quality, the hardness goes way up, and we'll even get a bit of ammonia in our water. Up here, we've got more lake inlay species, and some white clouds. There's 3 white clouds in there. And then some baby least killifish. Up here, we've got a bunch of baby least killifish hanging out, doing their thing. So we just fed them. And then over here, we've got my shrimp hatchery for all my red and red really shrimp. So there's a bunch of babies in there. And then in here, right now, we've only got a few cories and some mystery snails, and then about 10 Medaka rice fish in there. So everything's doing pretty gravy. Just doing well and situated. And you can see there's a half-beak chilling and eating. If you can get a better view of it, check this out. Kind of a cool fish to watch eat. It's actually its lower jaw that comes out like that. You'd think it'd be its nose or something, maybe. Where'd they go? But it's its lower jaw that it opens. And if you feed it like granules that are bigger, it will get them stuck in its mouth pretty frequently. That's a pretty common occurrence. Kind of hard to track this guy, but in any case. So there's that, and then let's go take a look at this tank really only has, it's got 3 cribs in it. The rock cribs, and then it's got the albino poulture, and then it's got 1 Filipino, or no, sorry, Turkish blue angel, the last of my angels, and then there's a few kitty tetras and a few cochise tetras in here, or kohaku, no, cochise, I guess. I think that's what they're called. I don't know. My brain's skipping a beat. But in here, again, this is the Nanochromis, not Parlus, but this one's the other one, the Tefe or Deformis, I think they go by also. And then again, this little goby, whoa, he's fast, just cleared out. I don't know. I guess we don't get to see him, but we'll give them some fry food just to hold everybody over, make them happy. Over here, same deal. And, you know, I want to do another little shout out to Redfish Bluefish up on Whidbey Island here in Washington State. My friend Jason Blair, he just opened up the brick and mortar side of his store, but you can also check him out at what is it? redfishbluefish.shop. And he's got all sorts of European rarity fish. He's brought in more pistos than you could shake a freaking stick at. And it should be pretty good. You can see these guys are darkening up again. Remember, they were like clear when they got home. So the only thing that I'm a little bit like, what is going on, is there's a lot of black beard algae in these bags, which obviously we're gonna clean. We're gonna put the fish in a net, and then we'll dip it in a third party of dechlorinated water. It almost makes me want to dip it into a water with like 1/20th of a cap, or 1/20th parts bleach, and then a cap of what do you call it? Just not dechlorinated, I suppose. Not use a cap of prime on it, but we'll see. So both these tanks are possibilities for doing something in the contest, but I'll probably just start a new one. And so just keep in mind with that aquascaping contest coming up is that we'll want you guys to take a picture of wherever you start, whatever the starting point that is, and then right before you're almost done, and then when you're finished. So there'll be 3 pictures. You can submit more. You can submit a home video for all I care. I mean, it would be cool to see that, actually. So yeah, and then actually check this out. There's so many cories in this tank and little teeny things grazing around, aspidoras and stuff. They're all just going wild in there right now, eating that flake or the fry food that falls to the bottom in the sand. Keeps them busy all day. It's good for them. In here, I had some plants that I was trying to grow submerged or immersed, and it looks like duckweed somehow has gotten in here and is doing better than anything else. The Tonina was a new plant that I'd never kept before, and I'm really glad that I put some of it underwater because it does not grow at all out of water, and I didn't realize that. I mean, I didn't find any information about it online. So yeah, but we got least killies with the CPDs in here right now, and then also the elastomas are in here too, and they always hang out in this rock pile. So they do their thing. Also, the other big African fish I've got in here, they're about 5 or 6 inches right now, are the mustard Synodontis, and there are 4 of them. I don't know what to do with them. I want to see them more. I never see them, and they hide all day. And I in the video that I filmed over at Danikin Aquatics over at Danny and Ken's place, they had a system to keep them kind of visible and swimming around a central like reef kind of structure. And I think something like that is maybe what I need to set up. Also, I'd really love to set up my big 55 gallon sooner than later. So let's take a look at the tubs real quick. Anybody have any questions about how fish take care of their babies for Mother's Day? Let's see here. I probably missed some questions. Let me try to scroll back through and see what. If you guys have questions for me, remember hit the @ the secret history living in your aquarium, and that will really help me. The rice fish are doing really well. The rice fish are, I'll show you out here. They're in the shade most of the day out here, and it's been not hot or anything, but not cold. And they're cruising around, doing their thing. They've got a really nice slime and algae setup here. So when they are ready, when it hits 70 or 68 is when they will spawn again. But right now they're just putting on weight. They're just eating little Daphnia and scuds and whatever's in here. Mosquito larvae or whatever. And they're just hanging out. These are the orange creamsicle ones. That's not their real name. Also, I had pennywort in my yard, and so I put it in this bucket which had filter media in it, which I just decided to fill with water because I figured it would grow some really good Daphnia with all the biofilm on it. I figured it would grow some sort of life, and that plant just grows like gangbusters. And I think it's either Creeping Charlie or Creeping Jenny that it is growing in there. And I got it from my yard out here. I mean, we just moved here a month and a half ago, so I don't know what all's in the yard still. But there are some aquatic plants, which is kind of cool. So we'll sneak up on this tub. It's gotten some tannins because of the magnolia tree. But you can see here the orange yohiki. I think that's how you say it, yohiki. The golden and orange medacas. And they're doing good. They've been out here for a month and a half since I've been here, and they're out here with Gambusia, which are basically like real tough, really tough guppies, except no color really, just some stripes on their side here and there. But the rice fish are doing well. I might take the Gambusia out and just put them in their own thing. I don't know. I'm not sure how they're going to do with the Gambusia, but I can see that there's Hydra and all sorts of little things growing life on the side. Now, the Hydra aren't necessarily a good thing, but they're kind of just part and parcel of the of a grow out when you have a tub or a tank. That's literally just a Rubbermaid tote that the top broke to, and it works great. It works really well for what I wanted it for. Same with this tank, 55. This is the bigger one I have that's not used right now, but I really want to use it. So maybe we're either going to do like sticklebacks or sunfish or something outside soon here if I catch some. And then if not that, then I guess we might use it inside for gouramis because my wife really loves gouramis, but I don't think she'll let me put it inside for anything other than a bunch of gouramis. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. She only let me head 2 tanks at one point, so we've come a long way. Let's see here. All right, take it easy, BJ. Have a good one. Let's see. Yeah, dip it in peroxide. That is probably a good idea for the BBA. It does kill it pretty quick. I went from a small can of Dr. Pepper to a large bottle. Actually, you know, it's not my fault. Okay? It's Kenny's fault. Kenny bought me that ginormous bottle of Dr. Pepper, and I still have it from yesterday. And it's warm and flat. But that's how I like my soda? Not really. Where did it go? Me chug out of my comically large, flat Dr. Pepper. Here we go. All right. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. Thanks, Kenny. Tastes so good. All right, so that's about that. Thank you, Cal. You think the channel should have 50,000 subs? I would be okay with that if they're gained by people who want to be here, who want to be part of the community like you all are. I mean, that's the reason this community, this channel is so great, in my opinion, is you guys and the eagerness to share what you're learning, eagerness to learn new things, and then I get to learn from you. You guys get to learn what I'm learning or what I've gathered, and we all get to kind of pick up things from everyone together and see what we're all working on. And then hopefully I serve as a source to kind of funnel that information into one targeted location where you can kind of gather it, and that's this channel. And same with the history and the trivia, the odds and ends, the bits and bobs of the science of how genetics works, or how color cells work, or how light refracts off of scales, or how fish locomotion works, or how ancient Egyptians kept fish, and now we know that they kept them, and that's the fish I forgot at the wet spot. I was going to get a Mormarid, and I didn't, but to be honest, I don't know what tank I would have put that in. They get pretty big. It would have needed to go in a 40 breeder, and ideally probably it would have gone in a 55 or 75 eventually. They get, I don't know, 6 inches, but they need a little territory. The Petersoni, I think, is the one I was looking at, which is the one they kind of worship the most. But yeah, I really do appreciate y'all, and also yeah, the live stream with Rachel O'Leary, thank you. I like that one too. Hopefully we can do more stuff together soon. I know Joey from King of DIY dropped in a while back and had said, hey, let's do something too. So at some point I'd actually like to interview him on a serious note about the changes that came to the hobby with self-publishing, the internet, with the Amazon press, being able to do your own books published online, print on demand, all that stuff, how that's changed the game for what we do in the hobby and how we get information online and things. But I appreciate it, and I just want to thank, again, the mods, the members, those of you who come here with information to help contribute to whatever it is we're talking about that day. If you're just here to learn, that's great too. But that's the way I'm kind of looking at it too, is that, I think education is very expensive. I do have a formal education, and thankfully I've paid it off, but it was very expensive. And if I can pass some of that down, and I mean, I'm not using it as a day-to-day job, so if I can pass some of that down for free or for low cost, for a cost of $1.99 membership, if you want to read all the scientific papers, or $4.99 or whatever you want to pay, I feel like it's a good way to do it. And then I do that with other channels, and I absorb lots of different topics, from everything from like channels like Numerophile to um, Smarter Every Day to whatever, whatever it may be. There's a lot of channels that I watch about science, history, biology, breaking news in the scientific world, and so forth. So yeah. um, let's see here. Oh, my battery's gonna die, apparently. But thank you so much. Primetime Aquatics. Yeah, I don't actually know Primetime Aquatics personally. So if somebody knows them and wants to say something, I mean, I can always message them, but it's probably just noise in the void, unless I can get a back channel to channels that are that size. Um, I have to say, I feel like I'm one of the on the rarer end of people. Once you get past 10 or 15,000, it gets very hard to keep track of everyone commenting and things. But I feel like I try pretty hard to keep up with comments and things. And so if someone's tried twice probably to get a hold of me, they almost undoubtedly have gotten a hold of me, or I'm way too busy, and or I've already answered your question and I'm like over it. In rare cases, if I'm being a jerk, to be completely transparent. Let's see here. Yeah, lots of plants for baby fish for sure. That's the next thing. Everything's been so shut down with the auctions in the club and everything. Normally, I would be buying tons of plants and trading tons of plants. And right now, uh, it's not like that. It's cash out of pocket to stores, and which is fine. I just did that. Just spent 200 quickly at Wet Spot, but um, it is sure nice when you can trade what you're breeding or what you have extra of. Sometimes in this channel, I want to just get a hold of a fish to have it for a couple weeks, get it healthy, maybe fatten it up, and then I'll trade it to a friend, or I'll give it to a fish keeper who has a biotope just right for it, or whatever. If in that way I'm able to do a species spotlight on that fish. So if you see a lot of fish that cycle through the fish room here, that's how one of the ways I do it without having a big fish room per se, is by having a lot of friends that, of course, they're always willing to take extra fish, especially rare and unusual ones. And sometimes it's fun just to kind of get them in when I see them, with it's off chance you find them, and then take care of them, and share them with you guys. So I got to get out of here because my phone's doing the doo doop doo doop thing. You guys know what I'm talking about. Um, let's see here. George, what are you saying? You have a question about guppies. You got a pair last night. Female drop fry. Can I add some salt to the tank? Yeah, you can. Guppies are. You can definitely put gobies and plecos together. Most plecos, the Peclatia species, are carnivorous, and some of the rubber lip ones and things are a little more. They're just not careful, so they'll just eat and chomp. Not that they have like sharp teeth or anything, but they've got these scraping ridges on their mouth, and so there is a chance that they could get a sleeping or kind of sunbathing goby. But usually gobies are pretty flighty, and so I think for the most part, I've never had any problems with keeping plecos and gobies. The main problem is that if you keep many plecos, plecos are really dirty. They make a big mess. They go to the bathroom quite a bit usually, and they eat a lot, which leaves a lot of waste and debris in the water, and that's not good for the gobies. So that's the downside. But I do have a young sultan of all things Peclotia, a comp or no, Peclotia. Serjanka, um, in with it's one of the Sultan plecos in with that Borneo tank, just because the biofilm is what it needs right now when it's young, but then it'll need meat. So, but yeah, George, the guppies, they can deal with salinity pretty much at any age from what I've seen, and they can deal with full salt water in some cases. Not all the fancy lines are like that. The more fancy, or the more, I guess, domesticated the breeds are, the more Dumbo ear, Delta tail, platinum, albino, whatever, anything like that, any recessive traits that they have that have been selected for, the more they have that, the higher chance it is that they're not going to be as robust in surviving any given diversity of water parameter. But in the long run, they seem to do fine. So usually I just kind of work up the salt content slowly with anything, but guppies can actually handle it pretty quick generally. So I just take it easy and give it a go though. Just don't put it full salinity right away. Like do like an eighth or a quarter, maybe an eighth of full salinity, or a 16th of full salinity, a 16th of full salinity, full ocean salinity each day or something for 4 or 5 days and see how it goes. Hey, Jamie Lee, so good to see you, but I am out of here because that's all, folks. Yeah, if you like that small amount, then that's perfect, man. You're a better breeder than I am, buddy. You trust yourself. With my Lisa Frank glasses. All right, you guys, you have a good one. I hope you like this little stream. I'm sorry it was a day late and $1 short, but that's how my life rolls sometimes. And hopefully tomorrow you guys will see my tour of Kenny's awesome, awesome, awesome aquarium house. The cichlids, the fish. He's got fish that are bigger than most of my tanks. Most of his fish are bigger than most of my tanks. And just incredibly beautiful. Such a labor of love. You guys got to check that video out when I drop that tomorrow. I'll probably drop that tomorrow morning. A good way to start the week, coveting thy neighbor's fish, All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much, super chatters, super stickers, super heroes, if you're here. And of course, all you super members, super lurkers, super soakers, if there's any squirt guns in the audience. Thank you so much for the $1.99 super sticker. I love the little Shiba Inu. And I will talk to you guys a little later. I gotta start doing things that, like, we're no longer on vacation in Portland. So the fun's over. Time to start cleaning up junk and take a nap, maybe. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for joining me. Have a great night. And again, happy Mother's Day to all of you that it may apply to, whether you are the actual biological mother, or you are an adopted mother, or you've just played that role. It doesn't matter. If you wear the shoes, the shoe fits, call it by the name. I think that's what Shakespeare said, right? Okay. All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. And I should be streaming again on Wednesday, probably at 5 p.m., I think. Maybe. Not positive. But I'll update in the community post and let people know for sure what the new time is. But we'll be back to Saturdays again. And we're going to go visit Jason at Redfish Bluefish probably in 2 weeks and check out the new store. So should be some cool stuff coming up too. Plus all of the contest info. So be thinking about it. If you want to do a tank, you can do as small as, a 2-gallon tank, as big as a 200-gallon tank. And it can already be set up from a year or two ago if you want. We just want to see the execution of an idea of growing some immersed stuff, maybe reorganizing stuff. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, have a good one. Thank you for those of you who watched the replay too. Talk to you guys later.